guys, welcome back to Tangy Tea of Life. I'm your host Veronica, and we have a special show tonight. Now I know you guys haven't seen me in quite some time since the pandemic with the coronavirus, but I hope you guys, I pray that each of you are out there healthy and well and practicing social distancing and doing everything that you need to do to stay safe. All right, so now that we got that out the way, it's a very special show. Like I said, we have a special guest, James Hudson Jr. Welcome to the tea.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for inviting me.
You're so welcome. So as many of you probably know, elections right around the corner, and Mr. Hudson is running for the Darlington County Sheriff.
I am.
Mm-hmm. So you are the former Hartsville Police Chief.
I am.
Mm-hmm. So what made you decide to run for sheriff?
Well, the family and I and the church family have been discussing this for a long time, 6 years really. And when I went back to the county as chief deputy, we lost that race with then Sheriff Wayne Bird. And then we immediately began to talk about running for sheriff in 2020. Mm-hmm. And we got some people involved, and I think we got the right people involved. And we knew it would be a journey. It would be a tough journey. But we came to the conclusion that we were going to do it. And if we didn't do it, then we would never know whether or not we could have done it. So here we are. We're like 5-6 days away now from the actual election date. Mm-hmm. And we're excited. We put in a lot of hard work. And we believe we're going to be victorious on June 9th.
Yes. So what gave you the passion to become part of the law enforcement? Like, how old were you? Like, did you want to be a police officer when you was a kid?
When I was a kid, I don't think I wanted to be a police officer then. I always worked in the public sector. After high school, I went to work at a steel mill, and they had a layoff. Mm-hmm. And when that happened, that just did it for me for wanting to work with private industry. Right. So I went back to one of the old professions that I did when I was in high school. I went back to Piggly Wiggly in Hartsville, started cutting meat. Mm-hmm. It's a great profession. Got to know a lot of people. And naturally we had Desert Storm in the 90s. And my baby brother and some other family members, including my sister-in-law, they all had to be deployed. And thank God they all made it back. Right. And when she came back, she went to work at the Darlington County Detention Center. And she called and said, hey, do you want to change professions? I said, well, sure, what y'all got going on? And she said, to work at the jail. And I was like, at the jail? Who wants to work at the jail? So I tried it, I enjoyed it, and Sheriff Campbell gave me a shot, and it was history from there. Wow. And I worked at every level of the jailer and patrol and supervisor, and criminal investigator, patrol commander, chief deputy, and chief of police. Wow. So I think I did a little bit of everything. Managed the drug team at one point. Never been an SRO. That's about the only thing I hadn't done. Okay. Yeah.
Wow. So you pretty much got it down pat.
Well, we got a lot of experience.
Yeah.
One thing you learn about this profession is there's always something to learn, and that's what I like about it. You don't go to work every day. You're not going to stand at a machine. You're not going to do the same thing over and over again. Mm-hmm. It's always something different. Right. And just when you think you saw it all, there's something happens. Yeah. And you be like, I don't know where to get that one from, but that's a new one. Right. But it's it has changed over the last 10 years. Law enforcement has. It's gotten really, it's gotten to the point now where you really got to do a lot of paperwork, clerical work. Mm-hmm. And that's why I went back and got my education, because it got to the point where you had to know what you were doing. You just were not answering calls of service and finding dope and drugs and money. There's a side of it that takes a lot of patience to do the paperwork, get it filed right, get it filed properly in the proper places. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's what helped me along. But I enjoy doing what I do.
Right. Okay. So this I had to Google. Okay.
Okay.
So according to Google, with a crime rate, and I'm reading, with a crime rate of 81 per 1,000 residents. Darlington has one of the highest crime rates in America compared to all communities of all sizes, from the smallest towns to the very largest cities. One's chance of becoming a victim of either violent or property crime here is 1 in 12.
Mercy.
That is scary.
It is alarming. It is.
Did you know that?
I didn't know those particular numbers. No, I did not.
Now that's according to Google.
According to Google. Well,
So if someone is, searching for a nice, quiet, small town to move to, if they read that, they're gonna be like,
they're not going to move.
right? No, I'm gonna count Darlington out. So how can you change that number?
Well, one of the first things that I've learned to do is we have to take in account of the accurate count of people that live in this county and the people that travel this county on a daily basis.
True. Yeah.
So a lot of people don't think about that.
Yeah.
So when you start looking at the overall numbers, there's a lot of people that live in this county, and there's a lot of people that come to this county for various reasons on a daily basis, Monday through Sunday.
Right.
And so then you have to think about what does it take to protect the people of this county, even the ones that don't live here, the ones that just come through to eat at restaurants, shop at the different vendors that we have in this county.
Right.
So what you try to do is, what I've always tried to do is I try to divide the county up into sections. And then once I do that, I look at where the crime is actually taking place. And then if we can focus on those particular areas where the crime is the most highest, then we can eliminate some things that are going on. But we still don't want to forget about the rest of the county that may not be having any crime issues.
Right.
You still want to provide the same service for those areas as well.
Right.
So that's the way I have learned to do it over the years. I divide it up into sections, and when you do that, then you can determine where you need to put your manpower at.
Right.
And even doing that, you want to make sure that you have people out there who understand what the mission is, meaning officers, and that don't mean riding in the car with the windows up
Right.
and shades on.
Yeah.
But you got to get out. And you got to talk to the people that you see in those neighborhoods, and they'll tell you a whole lot.
Yeah.
So when things do happen, you have contacts to go to in those communities
Right.
that can help you solve some of those crimes or help you with some of those issues that you have.
Yeah.
So it's a situation where it goes hand in hand. The citizens help law enforcement, and law enforcement help the citizens, and that's the way we will address things going in, taking over as sheriff, is meeting with the citizens of the county, finding out what the needs are, finding out what they think the issues are, and we will work on those issues together.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so with all that's going on now in the world, it's right there
There's
in
a
our
lot
face.
going on.
It's a lot going on. It is tough to be in law enforcement.
Very tough. A lot of guys that I talk to that's on the verge of retiring, they're ready to get out. They do not want to stay any longer.
And seeing that's my question. If you had to start all over again, like from fresh out of high school, would you do it?
No, ma'am, I would not. For various reasons. Now, when I started, it was 25 years. Now it's 27 years. I've sacrificed a lot, and I've asked my family to sacrifice a lot because we don't make enough money to do it.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't do that over again. I wouldn't put my family through that again, and I wouldn't put myself through that again either. So I wouldn't do it because now it's 27 years. The money's not there, and it's different times now. Social media. And when I started, if something happened today, it might take 3 days for it to get to the public. But now, in a matter of seconds, it's out there.
Yeah.
So there's no more hiding any information.
Right.
You can tweak it and camouflage it and put out what you want to put out, but the public's going to realize what's going on.
Yeah. But that could be a bad thing and it can also be a good thing. Like in George Floyd case, it's a good thing
Yeah,
that
yeah.
that phone was there
Right.
recording.
Right.
You know, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But you said something about the pay. Now, I did wanted to ask you about that. Why is it that police officers, everyone in law enforcement, why is it that the salary is so low for the job that you all do? Like, you're out there each and every single day. Your life is on the line each and every single day.
Right. Well, I think one of the reasons I've always heard and I experience is any person that works in the public sector, their income comes through tax dollars. So if your tax base in your county or the city where you live is low, then it's going to be harder to pay you the salary that you really deserve versus another county. So that's one of the reasons why that a lot of agencies don't make the money that they deserve because of the tax base in that county. You take a city like Lexington and Richland County, Horry County, but they have a very high tax base, so they can afford to pay more. But even in paying them more, they still have the same problem the rest of us have, which is retention. It's hard to keep them.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because what I mentioned earlier about the paperwork and all the stuff you got to do, the criticism, and going to court and stuff like that. And sometimes you have to go to court on your day off. So it's just it gets to the point where the younger guys that's coming in, they're not willing to put up with all that.
Right.
So you have to. This is a profession that you have to want to do because the money ain't there.
Right.
You gotta wanna be the person that's willing to serve people. And if you don't have that passion for serving people, it just won't happen. We did some studies, or the Chief Association did studies, and the Sheriff Association did studies. With a new recruit coming in, if they stay over 5 years, they're likely to stay there the entire time. But most of the time, within that 3 to 5 year period, they're gone.
Yeah.
Because the money's not there. It's 12-hour shifts. It's a lot of stuff they have to do, a lot of stuff they have to put up with. So, you're just dealing with a generation I that's not willing to put up with that. I mean, it's not going to do it.
So that's why when, citizens, they get mad, they're like, I pay your taxes. So,
Yeah, I used to say,
if
well,
I
you know
saying
what?
it right, I pay.
Yeah, they do say that. And then I've had people to tell me that, and I was like, sure, need to pay some more so we can make some more money. Yeah, but it's a great profession. It's an honorable profession, but it's just you have bad apples in everything you do.
Oh yeah.
And unfortunately, we've had some things to take place in our profession over the last 15 years that has put a black cloud over us, and I don't think we'll ever recover it no time soon.
Yeah. Well, that wasn't one of my questions about the pay, but when you were mentioning it, I was like, I'm gonna throw it out there and see.
Well, that's good. They need to know we don't make enough money.
Yeah, like I never did get that. I mean, even my husband, he's a police officer, and we was in Atlanta, and we was talking to another cop we met in a restaurant or whatever, and we ended up talking about pay, and they were like, yeah, we don't get paid nothing here, I'm like, even in a big city like Atlanta, like.
Well, we had in 2016, several of us had the opportunity to go to the White House, visit the White House. And that when President Obama had wrote this letter about law enforcement and things that was going on around the country. Well, I was blessed to go, and there were officers there from around the United States, and some of them made a whole lot of money, and some of them didn't. But they all had the same problem: they couldn't keep people. So you can raise the pay, but can you keep them?
Right.
And I learned 3 reasons why people leave jobs. They don't like the people to work with. The pay sucks, and there's better opportunity somewhere else.
Right.
So if we can create an environment where people love to come to work but still not make a whole lot, but the environment's good versus they can go somewhere else and make $100,000 a year,
Right.
but come over here and make 50, but they like working here because the environment's great. That's the kind of environment we want to create.
Yeah.
We didn't make a lot of money working up on the Sheriff County administration. The money just wasn't there.
Right.
And he tried,
Yeah.
but the environment was good. Nobody left. You just about had to wait for somebody to die to get a
Yeah.
promotion. But the environment was a great environment to
Right.
work in. And even when Bird came in, he tried to get the pay up, but for various reasons, he couldn't get it the way he wanted. And that's another goal of mine. I want to work with county council because they are a very key component in getting that money.
Yeah.
But when you're feuding with them, it's not going to
It's not
happen.
gonna happen.
So enough said about that.
Right.
You can't be feuding with county council. You got to make sure that they're on your side when it comes to certain things, and they understand that, hey, these law enforcement officers have to get paid.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so like I was saying, a lot is going on in the country. Revolving the murder of George Floyd, we all saw the video. What are your thoughts?
Well, when I saw it, I didn't know what to say, and that was not my first time seeing a person being done wrong. Even with out in Milwaukee when that young man got shot, the captain of that precinct, they call them precincts out there.
Right.
He came to one of our chief conferences and talked to us about what happened and how prepared they thought they were, but at the same time it was not because there was so much going on.
Right.
And that's when I learned that a lot of the chaos that we saw on TV, a lot of the chaos that we heard about did not actually come from the citizens who lived in those towns.
That's how it normally works.
It came from people that would bust in from different places
Yeah.
to cause those scenes,
Right.
to create the chaos. I don't think that a person should be wearing a badge or gun if he has that little respect for another person's life, no matter what color they are.
Right.
I think that once we get sworn in as an officer and we take that oath and we raise our right hand and the sheriff or the chief pin that badge on our chest, this does something to you.
Yeah.
And we should always remember how that felt. So I always try to teach the new recruits that come in and people that I hired when I was chief is that when we decided to take this job, you didn't come here and say, are we gonna have to deal with people of different color? Are we gonna have to deal with people of different socioeconomic status? You said you wanted to be the police.
Right.
You want to be a deputy sheriff. And we as agency heads afforded you that opportunity to be just that. And if you had hidden agendas, then that you should have took the job. And again, we have bad apples in everything that we do. I don't care what organization you'll find. There's going to be some that have their own hidden agendas.
Right.
Not saying that this young man had an agenda or whatever he had, but it was wrong for the way that happened. I think the administration there acted accordingly, and now it's up to the judicial system to take it and do the right thing. And I think everybody's going to be watching. I don't think we need to rush to judgment as to what we think needs to be done, or how quick we think it needs to be done. I think we need to let the process play out and let the system handle it. But I will say my heart goes out to the family of that deceased person, and I hate that happened. And we've been blessed in this area so far.
Yeah.
Not to have those type of incidents that has surfaced to that level.
Right.
Where we have chaos and stuff like that. So I think that we have to maintain order within our own ranks. And when things like that take place, I think it's up for the department heads to meet with their people and say, listen, this will not happen here. and this is why.
Right.
And I think you're sending a message to those who may want to jump on that bandwagon, maybe they won't.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to keep order in your own ranks,
Yes.
and let them know that we're not going to tolerate that here.
Right.
So
Yeah. It was hard to watch the video.
it was.
Very hard. But we praying for justice.
We all are.
Yeah.
I think he had a 6-year-old daughter.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So now this little girl without a father,
right.
just like that.
Mm-hmm. But you know, we as a group, as people, I think we need to make sure that those things are talked about in our own communities, so we can all have the same understanding as to why those things has happened in the past and happening now,
Mm-hmm.
and how can we work together to deter those things from happening in the
Yeah.
future.
Right. Yeah. That's gonna be tough one.
It is going to be
Yeah.
tough.
You know. And that's going right into my next question. Now, with your experience, right? What can law enforcement officers do to win back the trust of the citizens in their communities? Because right now, a lot of people are looking like, nope, I don't trust them.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Well, that's a great question. That's a great question, and I think we've been trying to win back the trust of the people for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But I think one of the main things that we can do is just be where we need it to be, and treat the citizens of not only Darlington County but of South Carolina like human beings.
Right.
And I just told a group the other week, you know, we want to treat everybody just like I want them to treat my wife or my family, my mother, father. You know, it's like I want my family to be treated. That's how we want to treat them.
Right.
So we got to go above and beyond to restore the trust from the community.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that means being friendly.
Yes.
You know, being where you need to be. Getting out of the car, talking to the people, just being there. Doesn't mean you got to have community cookouts and stuff like that, but just being there, just being present.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if the citizens see that you're trying, and at the same time you're fighting to reduce crime, I think that's where you can win the trust back.
Yeah.
But if nothing's happening with crime, as crime is still going up, then that's
Yes.
then you can't win the trust of that.
Now, and it's like you're just rolling right into the questions. Like, so when it comes to politics, don't beat me up, okay?
Mhm.
When it comes to politics, like electing new officials, we see a lot of the ones that are running for that particular seat, position, whatever you want to call it. We see you all out in our communities at the time. You know, we see you then, you know, with the barbecues and the fish fries and chicken bobs. But what happened when you all get elected? It's like we don't see the people that we voted for or the ones that wanted us to vote for them. We don't see, I'm saying you because you're right, and you're right here.
Yeah.
We don't see you all once you get in that position that we voted you to have. Like, we don't see you in our churches. You know, oh, you come to the church, you want me to vote for you, you're gonna be in that church, let me say a little word.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or like I said, having free chicken bars and stuff like that. Why we don't see you all after it's all over?
Well,
And I'm not going to say that it's everybody.
I'm glad you asked that question, because throughout this entire process, since I started campaigning, I really felt like a hypocrite. Still feel like a hypocrite, and I'll tell you why. I worked in this very same county, in Darlington County, all my law enforcement career, and I felt like I've been out into the communities as a officer. And a lot of people in the county know me, but a lot of people in the county don't know me.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that there's something wrong when I'm out frying fish or giving away barbecue or giving away chicken bog. I just think there's something wrong with that, in my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But I also understand it as part of the process.
Mm-hmm.
But if I could do it differently, I wouldn't do that. If I thought I could win your vote just by coming to you, shaking your hand and talking to you, I would do just that and nothing else. But unfortunately, talking to some of the people that has done a lot of this way before I even thought about doing it, say that this is the way it's done. The issues that I really have with it is, and I hope I can speak freely,
Yes. This is the tea.
it's not done in the white community,
Mm.
but it's always done in the black community.
Yeah.
And that's the issue I really have with it.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we so quick to be pounced on when it's election time?
Yes.
Why do we try to get into the churches during election time? And I visit a lot of churches
Right.
over my lifespan because I'm always, that's part of me. I go to church.
Yeah.
And so I know a lot of pastors and I've been to a lot of churches. But the people I do see that they're not from our community, they're not from any particular community, that's what they do.
Yeah.
I don't agree with it, but again, it's part of the process. I think that what I've told my team I'd like to try to do is once this is over and we have won and we've been sworn in, I want to continue to go through those communities as we have while we were campaigning.
Yes.
Because I would feel bad that we didn't do that, and they gave us so much support.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the things I want to try to do is just go back through those communities as sheriff and thank everybody and continue to go.
Yeah.
So I wish we didn't have to do those things. I don't like doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I think it says to a certain group of people that y'all are not intelligent enough. So we can just come and give you what we want to and you're gonna vote for us. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Because before I decided to run for sheriff, I felt that way.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt when I was like, well, I ain't going out to eat no fish. I don't want that barbecue.
I never saw you before in my community.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't even know who is that. You
Right.
know? But can I put it? No, I don't even know who you are. But if they now one candidate came to my house and sat and talked with me, and that meant a lot.
Yes.
And I voted for that person.
Yeah.
So I think if I could just come to your house and just sit and talk with you, and you get to know some of who I am and read about me, and then you can make your decision on who you want to vote for. But I think the persuasion is if I gotta cook and feed you and hug you and kiss you around the cheek, and I think that's just, I think it's too much.
Right.
I don't like doing that
Yeah.
myself. I do it, I don't do the hug and kissing though.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially now.
Especially now, yeah. Right. But I do, we do have a lot of events going on that we cook and feed the community. And they come out, and a lot of people I do know, they come out and take part in those events. But I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
But it's part of the process.
I feel that it's so important to see these faces after everything is said and done. Even if you come down the road and you see someone in the yard.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like it's very important to have like a friendship, but it's not really a friendship. Like I don't call you, you don't call me.
Right.
I mean,
But
what
we
I'm
know
saying?
each other.
But we know each other.
Yeah. Yeah, I know him. I voted for him. He came to my house and we sat and talked. I think he's a nice guy. That type of thing. I think stuff like that is good. I wish we could do it just that simple. But I'm not a politician. And what I've learned so far, I don't want to be a politician.
Yeah.
I just want to do this job.
Yeah.
I just think that I think the people needs to hold us, guys like me who's running for office, guys who are already in office. I think the people need to hold them more accountable in regards to what have you done? Why do you think you deserve another term or another? Why do you think you deserve to stay in this office? Tell me what you have done.
Right.
and be able to show it to them. When I left Hartsville, I left on good terms. We decreased crime. We implemented a lot of different programs. So I know, and they also knew that we did a good job while I was there. So that's the same intent that I have when I become sheriff, is to do a good job. But I don't want to, when I first started, I had a sergeant. The first thing he told me was, do not underestimate the public. Because if you do that, make a fool of them.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't want to do.
Right. But at the same time, you don't want to have that look on your face like, don't you come ask me nothing. I mean, I get the having a guard up, because some people may think, oh, well, you know, he's really nice. He's going to let me off the hook. You know, I can do that. And the sheriff, he going to, you know, just tap me on my hand. I mean, I understand that part, that you have to have that side of you as well, if that makes sense.
We have to have a protector. I mean, no doubt about it. I mean, because a lot of people are, you have people coming from all different angles, wanting to talk to you and tell you different things, and a lot of it are tests. They want to see how you can be,
right?
Whether or not you're gonna fall for the open door.
Yeah.
And you have to be wise, and you have to be smart, and you know you got to be on your P's and Q's, and realize that everybody who comes ain't coming for good.
Exactly.
Some people are coming to set you up, and you just got to be, you know, you got to be aware of that.
Yeah.
Don't be rude. Just sit and listen to what they have to say. And the more they talk, they'll tell you just what they want.
Right.
Yeah.
Just by sitting and listening and watching.
Yes.
So, sliding right into the next question.
Okay.
What changes would you make within the first 90 days of being sheriff?
Well, in the first 90 days, I think is expecting too much, because I think it takes a little bit longer than I had to do an assessment.
Yeah.
So I would say within the first 6 months to a year, give us 6 months to a year to start implementing or making any changes that are necessary in order to give an organization an opportunity to be more efficient in in our goals and what we're trying to accomplish. Naturally, taking office, there's going to be a little chaos, because people don't want to leave. They're not going to want to stay for whatever reasons.
Yeah.
And that'll you have to deal with all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And then you got to replace those people. So there'll be a lot of things going on in the very beginning. In the first 90 days, there'll be a lot going on that has nothing to do with your assessment, but you got to deal with that as well.
Right.
But one of the things I've learned as being a former chief and executive is that you know you got to go in and do something,
Right.
but you want to make sure that something is the right thing at a time. And then I've learned that some of the things that you change, you have to change back.
Yeah.
Because every organization is different, and it's different because we all have different personnels. So getting the right personnel on board to accomplish the goals is the key thing. I want to have people around me that has the experience that I like for him to have, to make sure that we have a good core of people who knows what to do in different situations. I've never been a person to micromanage, and I don't want to have to babysit either.
Right.
So I need people with experience who knows what to do, understand the process. If we got an incident, I don't need to be the ringleader trying to get it all done. I need the key people get taking care of that kind of stuff. So that's the kind of environment we want to create at the top. Your administration is very important in regards to how your organization is going to be ran.
Right.
If you have a weak administration, then the rest of your organization is going to be
Entire
weak.
team.
Right.
Yeah.
So I learned that from Sheriff Campbell. Your second in command kind of sets the tone for everything. So you want a very strong chief deputy at the sheriff office. Just like in the municipality, if you're the chief, the city manager, the mayor wants a strong chief, but the chief wants a strong assistant chief, because there will be certain things that's going to take place that has to be handled. And as chief or sheriff, I don't need to be in the middle of it, because if something goes wrong, then I need to be farther away from it so I can make the right decision. So being an independent as who I am, I think that if you're independent and you're thinking, but have a group of people around you that's going to tell you when you're wrong and not just tell you when you're right, I don't need yes people.
Right.
That's a recipe for disaster.
Yes.
I need people going to say, hey, look, Sheriff,
You know that wrong.
that ain't right. That ain't right. Yeah, let's think about this thing before we do it.
That's what they needed in Minnesota.
Exactly.
When that need was on the neck.
When I saw that film and I saw those other officers standing there, I was like nobody gonna say nothing? And somebody got to say something. Somebody got to say, hey man, that's enough.
Yeah,
Let's stop.
this man pleading for his life,
Yeah.
and you just standing there.
Yeah.
Yes, they all should go down. And you know, we can talk about that all night,
All
but we're
right.
gonna move on.
Okay.
One of your quotes, quote, you said the election will not be about you, but about the people of Darlington County. Can you explain that?
Well, I want the people of Darlington County to know I'm just a gatekeeper. I'm gonna be the person that they'll elect to keep order and to keep them safe and protect their properties. But they have the power because they elect me. So they can unelect me at the same time in 4 years. So I just want, and that's something that was driven in me years ago. I think that when people get elected and they stay, I would say too long, they begin to think that the people work for them.
Yeah.
And I never understood that.
Right.
So I would say, I'm the gatekeeper. I'm the guy that you elected to make sure that everything is done right from a criminal standpoint, to protecting your property, to solving crimes, to reducing crimes, to making your community safer, to making the county safer. So like we spoke earlier, like if a new family was moving to Darlington County and they went and did their research and they was like, there's two things that they're gonna look for. They're gonna look to see if it's crime low and what kind of schools we got.
Yeah.
And we can have great schools, but if the crime high, they still ain't moving.
Right.
So if you got those things, then people want to move to your location. And when they begin to move to your location and take jobs at various companies around Darlington County, that ups the tax rate because more people are paying taxes in your county.
Right.
So therefore, you can look to get more raises from the public sector. So that's the guy who I am. I'm just like Scottie Pippen who played for the Bulls. I'm a swing man. You know, I made Jordan look good. That's it. So.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. He made Jordan look good. So I'm just here for the people to say we got a good sheriff. He's handling business. Our crime is low.
Yeah.
We got people moving in our county now. That's paying more taxes. You know. So that's the kind of guy I want to be. I don't. It's not going to be about James Hudson. I'm not going to say, well, I'm the sheriff. And I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Because I think when you start hearing them say that, they won't be sheriff long.
Yeah.
From my experience.
Right.
So I've learned that I work for the people, and I want the people to know I work for them. They don't work for me. And I think as long as we keep that concept, I think we'll be fine.
Right. Well, Mr. Hudson, that is all the questions that I have down.
Really?
Yes, can you believe it?
Not mine.
But I would like for you now to speak to the people. Like, why should the citizens of Darlington County elect Mr. Hudson as the next sheriff?
Well, I've been asked that question a number of times since I've been on this campaign trail. And being born and raised here in Darlington County, having family here, friends here, I understand the system that Darlington County has, and every county has a different system. Darlington County is a very unique place. And I understand that. And I'm working in Darlington County for so many years. I know that there's certain things that has to be done. And one of those things is we have to fight to reduce crime. But the other thing is we gotta stop, or we gotta put together a plan to reduce our black on black crime. We gotta come to the table and we gotta lead with a plan that's gonna teach our young black men and women that violence is not the answer. Picking up a gun and shooting one another is not the answer. There's a better way of doing things, and there's a better way of living life. And I understand that. I've always been able to deal with the youth. I coached Little League Baseball for 12 seasons. We implemented programs in the city of Hartsville in regards to the youth. And those programs are still ongoing now in the city of Hartsville. So, you know, if we can continue to work on building bridges instead of trying to tear walls down, I think we can make a lot of progress. So I think I'm the better candidate. Naturally I would, but I'm the better candidate because I have everything that they ask for. I have the education, I have the experience, I have the know-how, I know the people, and I know what needs to be done. And I'm an independent thinker. Now, I don't say that I don't have people that I go to for advice, because I do. But those people also tell me when I'm wrong. And that's what I like about having those people in my corner. I don't have yes people. I don't want to have yes people. I want people to tell me when I'm wrong. Because sometimes we need it. We need it for people to tell us, hey, you know what you're doing ain't right. And that keeps you grounded. So, as I said earlier about dividing the county up so you can see it better, I've done that before, and it gives you a better way of looking at things that's going on around the county. And I know the county, even though there's new subdivisions and things that has been added over the last 5-6 years. I've found those as well since I've been out here campaigning. So people want to know that their properties are being protected, and they want to know that their kids are being safe, and they want to know that their house are being safe when they leave to go to work. And I believe we can do that, but James Hudson can't do that alone. I want to work with the people of Darlington County to accomplish the goals that you think needs to be accomplished. That's why I believe I'm the better candidate, because I have a proven record that I've done that before. And so I want you to know, when you elect James Hudson Jr. as your next sheriff of Darlington County, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna work together to continue to build bridges and to make things better. So please go out and vote on June 9th, or you can vote early, but go to your precincts and vote. Do not sit home. And even if you don't vote for James Hudson or the current sheriff, you still need to go vote.
Yes.
Voting is your right. I think that's the only thing that we possess as human beings that someone can't take away from us. And if you think about all the lives and all the blood and all the tears that were shed so that we would have the right to vote, I think you would get up off your couch and you would go vote. Don't let someone else's hard work and tears go to waste. Do your due diligence. Go vote. Even if you don't vote for James Hudson, go vote. But now I want you to vote for James Hudson because I'm the better candidate. So please go vote on June 9th. Exercise your right. That's your voice. That is your voice. So don't sit and be quiet. And I know sometimes silence is power, but in this case, we need to go vote. And I want to thank you, and I want to thank you as well for having me on your show. And hopefully one day we can do this again.
Yes.
When I'm already sheriff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do want to thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for coming and sitting down and speaking with me and the people. And I couldn't have said what you said at the end no better than you. Get out there and vote.
Gotta vote, guys.
All of you out there protesting, wanting change, the only way you're going to get that change, you have to go to the polls. Tuesday, June 9th, make sure you get out there and vote. I don't know why people think the presidential election is the most important time to vote your local candidate.
Yes, and you said it, that's the truth. And a lot of people don't understand that.
Yes.
It starts locally. That's where it starts. And it goes up. It sets the tone for who's gonna be president, because everybody else is already in place now to make this person president.
Right.
So it starts locally. So you need to pay attention to who's getting elected as city council, county council, sheriff, clerk of court, probate judge, in any of those positions that are elected positions. You need to pay attention who's getting elected to them.
Yes.
Because they set the tone for things that's gonna happen at the federal level, the state and the federal level. So don't just wait until, I'm just gonna vote general election time. By then it's too late.
Right.
By then it's too late. By then you have things that are in place that you can't control and you can't change. So vote now. Vote early, vote local. You determine who you want to put in office. And the thing about voting, you can determine who you want to take out of office. So go vote. It's very important.
Very.
Please go vote. And in regards to protesting, I know that's a right that we have, but you shouldn't tear up your own community.
Yeah.
That's not the way to do it, because those things has to be replaced.
Right.
So I think that if you do your homework and you protest and you hold those people accountable who you have elected and who has also been appointed, I think over time you'll see things start to change. But when you're tearing up your cities and burning police cars and doing things of that sort, it just says that we are a city or a county or a country of disorder. And I don't think we're a country of disorder. I think we have order, but we have to hold people accountable that has the power to change certain things.
Yes.
So let's protest, but protest in a peaceful manner.
Tuesday, June 9th. Get out there and let your voice be heard. Go vote.
Go vote. Don't sit home. Go vote.
Go vote.
You know, polls are open from 7 to 7. If you don't have to be to work until 8, go vote before you go to work. If you get off at 3 or 5 and you get off work, go vote. And you know, hey, tell your family members, anybody that's 18 years of age that's already registered, go vote. It counts. It's your right. Exercise your right. It's your voice. Now's the time to speak.
Yes, you want change. Now is the time.
Now's the time.
Mr. Hudson, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. This was a great talk.
Yeah, good chemistry.
Good chemistry, yes. Thank you so much. And guys, thank you so much for watching Tangy Tea of Life. Tawan, hopefully, prayerfully, will be back next week with me, and we will have a show lined up for you guys. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you for hanging out, waiting for us to come back with some tea. And what better way to kick off the tea with Mr. James Hudson Jr. Make sure you get out there and vote Tuesday.
Go vote. June 9th.
See,
Elect James Hudson, Sheriff of Darlington County.
yes. Mr. Hudson,
Thank you.
we can't hug, but we can.
There you go.
Thank you guys. We'll see you next time. Make sure you go and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tangy Tea of Life. Go on Facebook, give us a thumbs up, leave comments below, let us know your thoughts. All right, until next time, God bless you all. Stay healthy and safe out there. Bye.
Thank you.